Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I am in Luxembourg in the Yoga Loft Studios where I come to teach classes and workshops throughout the year. And I wanted to address a question / thing that just keeps coming up that I keep hearing about meditation. And that is the thing about that the mind cannot stop, my thoughts cannot stop, I cannot sit still, and how do I actually get my thoughts to stop? And I totally understand because I have been there myself. And when I first started meditation, to be honest with you, I really didn't like it at all. I remember the first meditations I tried, I couldn't sit still, and my mind kept going and going and going, and I kept thinking about what I would eat for lunch later and what I would wear the next day, and then my mind would go to the past or what happened yesterday or that thing someone said. And the thing is, I stopped many times, but then I kept trying. And I kept trying with different meditations until one resonated with me. And what I've learned is that the mind actually won't really stop. The thoughts just won't disappear one day because the mind is working in that way to have thoughts. But as you continue meditation, even when it feels like those times that you feel like you're just not a good meditator, you're failing at it, by the way, there's no failing at it, even when you keep trying and showing up in those moments, that starts to build up and compound. And then one day you'll notice that all of a sudden your mind begins to calm down. And what happens is not that your thoughts begin to disappear, but that you actually are a lot more aware of your thoughts. And that becomes really interesting, because you stop attaching so much to the thoughts and giving them a lot of meaning. For instance, you might have a thought, and then all of a sudden your mind comes up with this whole story about the thought. And before you know it, it builds up, and it goes to this domino effect. Well, through meditation, you begin to bring awareness to, okay, I have this thought, interesting. And then we let it go. Because in a moment, another thought will also come in. And the thing that I truly love about meditation, what I find so fascinating about it, is that you become more aware of the quality of your thoughts. So once I started really getting deep into meditation, I started noticing my thoughts, I realized I have a lot of negative thinking. And also started to question where these thoughts came from. And are they actually me? Are they helping me? And from that point of meditation, you can start to change them. You can start to reprogram the mind and reprogram the way that you think. And this starts to change the way that you feel. It starts to change the energy. So it all has this effect every single time we show up. So my answer is really to keep trying. I love that word, try. It doesn't mean it has to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have to get it right every time. It just means to try and show up in each time and try again. And when we do that, what happens is we create a positive compound effect for our mind, our body, our spirit. And then in time, we start to see the effects. It's almost like when you're waiting for water to boil. When you first put that pot onto the stove and you put the heat on, nothing really happens. You can't see anything happening, but the water is getting more warm. And even though you can't see it happening, it's still getting warmer and warmer. And then you notice eventually, it starts to boil. And then it kind of goes really intensely. I like to see meditation in that same way. is we might not really see the results like immediately, always. We might still have a lot of the thoughts ruminating, but every single time that we try, we're allowing that water to heat up. And we're allowing it to heat up until it starts to boil over. And then we start to see one day the real effects that it's having on our mind. And this is worth everything. So I invite you to try. I invite you to try and find a meditation that really resonates with you, because that will help as well whenever you have your thoughts ruminating. Use guided meditations to really help you come back into the moment and train your mind to come back in that way. Because then the mind does not control you, but you start being in control of your own thoughts, your own presence. And that is a powerful place to be. So I hope that this has supported you. Take this with you, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful meditation. Namaste, everyone.